I'm about to pull into a town that's kind of a ghost town, but there are some residents there. And the last thing I want is to be standing in that town beside some buildings, doing stuff in the back here, attracting some curiosity as to what I'm doing. Or whether they just see a camera or a couple of cameras and just know I'm a photographer and I'm not doing anything like weird in their town. So I've pulled over here on this long stretch of road heading towards Death Valley, and I fully intend to get some photos today, but the weather has not really proven to be helpful in giving me great light, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. Also, it is cold. All right, I think I'm set up. I'm going to continue on here. In today's video, we're going to be spending a few days exploring locations in and around Death Valley. I'll be sharing where I'm shooting, the cameras that I'm using, and tips for landscape, documentary, and adventure photography as we explore Death Valley and ghost towns. I feel like one thing that I'm very aware of today is not wanting to feel rushed. A lot of times on photography trips, I feel like I'm trying to do a lot in one day and therefore, moving around a lot, or I'm like racing the light because it's either gonna be great at a certain time or it's gonna turn bad and I just need to try to get to these spots or get this shoot done before that. I don't know if it's gonna get any better today, and I really have no agenda other than like this one spot and then heading on to Death Valley for the night. We're looking for stories, and this town is a mix of history, people, and landscape. I would say probably more history and people than landscape. But there's just some really interesting scenery here, so we're gonna look for that. At first, I was a little bummed that I didn't have any light on the buildings. I had timed this shoot for some late afternoon harsh light, which is some of my favorite light to shoot in. But in Darwin today, the clouds were blocking the sun to the west, so I just had to make do with the light that I had. There were plenty of interesting things to shoot in this city, from the obvious buildings and cars to the little details I found as I walked around. When I'm in a location like this, the mystery always fascinates me. You get to create your own version of history with each image. Storytelling in a place like this is almost like a story of what happened. There are vehicles that are truly just walked away from. There's homes that are just walked away from. At some point, it was parked there and left. And I'm not gonna know how this Schwab's van ended up here, or this yellow bug, or the house behind it ended up just completely vacant. I'm not gonna know these things, which makes it all the more fun to capture it because we don't know what has happened here other than people left. When you've got multiple vertical lines, like we've got the side, the stovepipe, the power line, the flagpole, the power line, I always try to get those spaced out somewhat even. Use the back of the screen if I have to, just to get some vertical symmetry. I feel like that always makes your photos a little more pleasing. Yeah, and that works. So let's walk over here and see what else is here. Oh, my hands are freezing. My family literally said, are you bringing gloves? I said, no, it's not gonna be that cold. And they were like, you need to bring gloves. I didn't bring gloves. There is no telling how long a lot of these books out here have been here. And canned food, flashlights. There's a dog kennel I just noticed. Man, the weather's so nasty. I feel like it's getting worse, not getting better. While shooting in the town playground, I met a local woman named Ursula who told me a little bit about the town and a few things that I would have never known about. How many residents live in this town?
40.
40, okay. Small, yeah.
In the wash, in that wash, you can see, but you basically, if you think that way, you're going to get into the wash. It's called Lucky Jim Wash. And just past it, there's a road that goes down into the wash. And right there, there's some old Chinese dugouts.
Oh, wow.
From people during the mining days, basically Chinese laborers that lived in the dugouts.
Wow, that's wild.
There was an old dugout with a piano in it too.
Okay, Ursula told me that the Darwin station that I photographed a little earlier is a community space. She said it's worth checking out. So she told me the door into it was on the left side. So I'm going to enter this place with her permission. She said go through the kitchen. Whoa. And then the community space. Wow. I love the DVD collection. You know, I guess if you live in this town, it might get a little boring. So you might need things, you know, to do. This is wild. Let's get some photos in here. When I'm shooting interiors like this, I'll just set my shutter to 1/125, and then I'll put the camera in auto ISO. This just helps ensure that exposure is consistent and I can think about the compositions. Now, I'm not really one to use the back of the screen much on the Leica M11, but I am using it in a scenario like this, purely because I want to make sure I get really good framing in a tight spot. Also, when I'm shooting abandoned buildings or any type of architecture, I like to hold the camera a little more level and higher so I don't get that like warped, you know, perspective from the bottom. I like to kind of make it, tilt it forward, raise it up, try to make it like level with the building. So if you've watched my other videos and I have, you know, discouraged back of the screen, in this scenario, I totally use the back of the screen. Ursula was telling me that the library is always heated and it's the local bathroom for people that don't have a bathroom. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, amazing. Incredible. I'm not gonna photograph this spot. We're not gonna photograph this one, but oh my gosh. My kids would love that. Amazing. It's always crazy to me how in the desert, things just end up in the most random places, whether it's a refrigerator or an art installation. He said that down in the wash, right outside of town, is the old cemetery from the 1800s when this, you know, town was a mining town. And she said this was a pretty hopping place back then, which is cool. I don't know the history of this place that well, other than just, you know, that it was established in the 1800s and that it was a mining town. But she said there's an old dugout down here where people lived, and inside one of the dugouts is an old piano. So I definitely would love to go find that. And she just said down in the wash. So I should have probably asked the clarifying question, where? But she just said past the greenhouse, down in the wash. So we're gonna go try to find that, past the greenhouse and down in the wash. Okay, so there is the greenhouse over there. She pointed towards this direction behind it in the wash. There's an outhouse. She did say something about an outhouse. There are a lot of cool cars sitting around over here, but at the same time, a lot of these houses look lived in to some degree, and I don't want to walk up and take photos of lived in homes. Okay, not a through street. All right, this is probably the wash she's referring to. Let's go see what it's all about. All right, this is definitely the wash down here. Some vehicles, oh, that's been there a long time. Okay, wait a minute. That could be it. I mean, that is behind the greenhouse. Yeah, that's gotta be it.
These old dugouts were lived in by Chinese immigrants who came to work the mines in this town. It's pretty crazy when you think about the fact that they were literally living in what is basically a cave to try to build a better life.
Really happy with that one. What a wild, wild experience. All right, let's get out of here.
We are very spoiled today with comforts, the pursuit of our passions, and if you are watching this, the benefits of technology and communication. Pretty crazy to think about the lives that they lived and all that they sacrificed for the pursuit of happiness.
We are out here this morning at the Mesquite Flat Dunes. Gonna see what kind of sunrise we get out here today. This is traditionally more of a sunset spot, and the crowd here this morning definitely affirms that because there is no crowd here. I've done sunset here a couple of times, never done a sunrise. Very excited about it. So I'm just going to walk until I hit a spot that I'm like, okay, I think this is the composition I want. I see what I think I want, and it looks kind of far away, but you know, we're gonna keep walking. Looks like we're starting to get a little light on the bottom of the clouds. Very exciting times.
Setting off in the dark across the dunes was surreal. No cities, no civilization, just the sand and the blue desert.
I'm on this ridge here. Part of me feels like that the ridge 2 over would be a nice view of the highest ridge that I can see in this spot. But I don't know. I'm worried that by the time I get over there, I might lose any option for this. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna go at least one more ridge over. We'll see how that goes. Man, it's steep.
It seemed that no matter how far I went, the view really didn't change much, so I kept going.
I came one ridge over, but it looks exactly the same. So we're gonna keep looking. I don't think I've found the spot yet. We are about 10 minutes until sunrise. Still walking, still looking for the spot. Everything looks a lot closer than it is, and it's hard to understand the scale of a dune until you're about to climb it. Every ridge I get to, I just say to myself, one more. Let's go one more. I think I finally found a spot that will give me some diverse compositions. Sun should be coming up in just a couple of minutes and we will find out.
And that's when I began shooting. The constant changing light and the 360-degree views were almost overwhelming. It felt like there was a new photo every second, and I could barely keep up.
Well, I think we found some compositions where there was some hard light, some hard shadows. The M11 with the 90 gave me a different composition, letting me punch into some details. Really enjoyed that. But I think the Q343 photos are going to be the winner on this one. So I'm stoked to go to the next spot, keep using this Q343 and seeing what we think. This video is not about the Q343, but I mean, we're using it, so we obviously have to acknowledge it. And thanks again, Rudy, for letting me borrow it. Figured I should switch to 28 just for a few shots. Also, changing lenses in the sand, like I did it inside my bag. It's kind of terrifying.
After getting the sand off myself and all of my gear, I headed into the valley for 3 different locations that would each challenge me with finding a subject. My first stop was 282 feet below sea level, the lowest point in North America, Badwater Basin.
Just objectively, from like a landscape photography perspective, this is a pretty complicated spot. The last time I was here, I had my wife and kids, and my kids were really small. And we did some like family portraits out here. I took some portraits of them, which makes sense because that gives you something to shoot. Out here on the salt flats, it's just a giant textured bed surrounded by big mountains. On the hottest day of the year, this is the hottest place on the earth. But today it's a nice 60 degrees, feels good. The camera that I've brought out to Badwater Basin is the M11 with the 50 Summilux. This is a close focus because I'm gonna just try to get some textures. I'm gonna shoot tight rather than wide because it's huge out here. And again, it's a complicated place to take landscape photography.
In an attempt to get past the people that would be in my shots, I had to walk quite a ways across the salt. As I mentioned while at the dunes, things are much further away than they look when you're out in the desert. Once I was out there on my own, I started focusing on details, and I even invented this little move to get a straight down shot on the M lens. As I was struggling to find a subject, 2 people began walking across the scene, which gave me something to shoot.
All right, we came out to get some textures. We have gotten some textures. We're gonna head back to the car now and then go on our way to some more Death Valley spots and some ghost towns as well. It's gonna be a big day. Still early.
There's a small white sign on the cliff as you're walking back that shows you sea level, and it's pretty impressive to think about how far below it you are. After leaving Badwater Basin, I stopped at Devil's Golf Course and faced a similar problem. What is my subject? I focused on the details of these little formations of salt and mud, though I'll admit, I personally found it uninteresting. After leaving there, I started the Artist Drive, which is a beautiful 9-mile stretch through the desert.
As I'm driving, I found this spot that I thought looked really cool. I'm gonna wait 10 minutes. Let's see if a cool car comes by. It's mostly cars like mine, which is a Subaru Ascent. But we're gonna wait and see if maybe somebody cool, maybe there's a cool person that has a cool car. Unlike all us, you know, family folk. SUV. Nissan Sentra. Toyota Matrix. Got anything coming? Nothing is coming at the moment. Okay. Keep waiting it out. I got tired of waiting in the sun, so I got in the car. But I've given it my 10 minutes. I don't think it's going to happen. A lot of SUVs. Oh, wait. Okay, that'll work. Ugh. All right, we got, right as I was wrapping it up, I think we can do it. I think we're going to pull it off. There's a white Sprinter coming. I think it's a Sprinter. Maybe one of those cargo vans. It's not like one of the new ones, but I mean, it's better than nothing, right? I'm going to try to get him in the dip. Here we go. And got him right there. That'll get it. Yeah. Waited all that time for a mediocre shot. All right, we're here at the Artist Palette Overlook. Gonna go check out some colors in the rocks. For these photos, I just brought the 35 Biogon, realizing I'm leaving my 35 Summilux in the car more often than I usually would, which is never leave it in the car. But I'm trying to give this Biogon a fair shot at landscapes. Looks amazing in other scenarios, but I've never really taken it on a trip before, so we're gonna see how it goes.
The 35mm worked pretty well in this scene, though I struggled to identify a subject. The people walking through the scene helped, but while I found the colors here interesting, I didn't really find the photos interesting. This is one of those cases where the experience was much better than the photos I took away.
This is a really cool spot. Had a ton of fun taking it all in. But between like Badwater, the Devil's Golf Course, and now here, it really brings up the challenge in landscape photography of defining your subject. Because when the landscape is flat, especially when you're like shooting a layer and a layer and a layer, it's not always super clear and interesting what your subject is. So I'm going to attempt to drive up to the Keene Wonder Mine, 3 miles up the mountain down this dirt road. The Keene Mine is part of the national park, but it is a historic mine. Structure's still there. So we're going to work our way up there and see what's up. The heat's got my tire pressures higher than usual, and I'm on this dirt road. So, not a great combo, but I think we'll be okay. Huh. All right. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those locations where there's like 100 things to see and document. Already just looking over here as I'm starting to walk up towards the mine at the wash. I mean, it's like a graveyard of mine stuff. I'm shooting the 28 now because I figured there'd be some big stuff. I got the 50 in my pocket though. I love that I can carry a Leica lens in my pocket.
The Keene Wonder Mine is something to behold. There was stuff everywhere. Places like this are the American version of the Roman Forum, which, if you have ever seen, has all of these remnants of an ancient civilization. Our ancient in the US is only a couple of 100 years old or so, and the mine remnants are about as ancient as we can get here. It's truly an amazing thing to experience. There was so much to shoot. Details everywhere, stories everywhere, compositions everywhere. It was photography stimulation overload.
Well, like I mentioned, I'm using the 28 Summicron on the M11, and I feel like that was definitely the right call. From this angle right here, I was able to get the cable run and the structure here all in one shot with the 28. But I am thinking I'm gonna go down here. There looks like there's a trail. There's nobody here but me though, and it always freaks me out whenever I go anywhere. Okay, this seems like a trail. People have definitely walked here before, but we had explicit instructions to stay on the trail and out of the mine. So I'm gonna assume that because this trail is somewhat walked, this is okay. But I am not going to go any further than like right here. This is gonna be my spot, right here. National Park Service, it's right here. Oh yeah, from up here, much bigger view. And that's what I'm gonna go for. So as I was driving up, I saw a building on this side, like a gray building, and I don't see it from the main view over here. So I'm gonna follow this trail and see if it takes us to where I can see that building. Because it was like kind of like distant, seemed hard to get to maybe, or at least it was like kind of on its own. And that's the kind of images I think I like the most, is whenever there's some isolation inside of a landscape. So we're gonna see if that's over here. Nothing yet. I wonder if it's on that trail down there and around the bend. I might follow that trail and see where it goes. So I was just up there, and now I'm getting down into the wash, following this trail, hoping that if I go around this little bend here, I'll see the building that I saw earlier. Coming upon all that rubble we saw from the other side, this trail takes us right to it. You can see where there was a foundation once built here, and then whatever this was. Okay, but the trail keeps going. Hoping when I turn this, we'll see it. The big reveal. Yes, there it is. There it is. Came all this way for it. Look at it in all of its glory. Is that an outhouse? It's possible. I just went on a search for an outhouse. But there's also an opening to the mine over here that's like pretty prevalent, like in the side of the mountain. Now we're gonna find out, did we come all this way for an outhouse? Oh, damn it, we did. This is totally an outhouse. Wow, guys, sorry to disappoint. Still cool, still getting a photo. Okay, it's hot. I didn't bring water. Let's head back to the car. Just see this nail sitting here. And I always tend to think when I see old things like that, that nail was built by a man, hammered into wood by a man, and that man has been dead for like 100 years, if not longer. History is wild.
We're back on the road, and this time heading east out of the park.
It should be obvious that if you find something random on the side of the road, out of place, you should take a photo of it, right? Right.
Finding this old boat was completely unexpected, as were the donkeys. Anytime something unexpected happens, get that photo.
Oh my God, these freaking wild donkeys are everywhere in this area. I think I see our little town over there at the base of the mountain. I say little town, but really it's a post office. I think that's gotta be it.
The only remains of this town is this one lone building, the old post office. I was here for about 30 minutes or so, and during that time, the light came and went due to the small clouds blocking the sun. Unfortunately, I didn't get much of the good light on video, but it did show up for the photos.
So given the nature of ghost towns, typically, especially here in the West, like the desert, there are all kinds of things left behind on the ground, whether they were like tin cans, oil cans. Not all of it is old, but like these bullets here aren't old. But getting just a few feet into a wash, you start to find all sorts of things. Like, let's look at a few things here. And not that any of this is like photo worthy necessarily, but if you like history, some of what's out here is historic. Not all of it. Some of it's like from people hanging out here over the years. But I always enjoy looking around. And this is another one of those things where it's like, look, but don't take, don't take things, leave things as you find them. All the things that make us, good people. And of course, watch your step. Great little spot. Wasn't too hard to get to. Wasn't clearly marked, but wasn't hard to get to. I'm gonna grab one more photo here while the light is nice, and then we're gonna head out.
For me, the highlight of the day, and maybe of the entire journey up to this point, was the town of Rhyolite. Very rarely do you get to experience a ghost town like this. These concrete and block buildings in the desert were last inhabited prior to 1920, when this became a ghost town. The entire valley was once a city, and only these buildings remain today. I can't describe the feeling I had walking around and photographing this ghost town. It was a mix of wonder and sadness, though I can't explain why. I'm always aware of the value of life, that each person is this mix of emotions and ambitions and dreams and joys and suffering. There was a lot of life here at one time, and today, just the stone remains. It was a really moving experience and powerful to photograph.
I had a little extra time. I was a little unsure about what I wanted to do for sunset tonight. I'm gonna be back in this spot tomorrow morning for sunrise, and this is more of like a sunrise spot, but I thought I'd come check it out for sunset this evening.
The textures here create a mix of shadow and light that is unmatched anywhere else in the park. The dunes were soft and rolling. The textures here are sharp and jagged. This created some really dynamic photos, and while I expected the morning light to be even better, the sunset photos and the experience of being here was a really perfect end to the day.
It has been a really long day of photography. It was challenging in many ways as well, but those are the best times because in the challenges, we get a chance to try things and evaluate things, grow. So I love a challenge and, taking some risks. The thing that I always try to remember about landscape photography is that it'll be here next time, 100%. I mean, unless all this goes away, it's going to be here next time. And so for that reason, when you visit a place, you don't have to try to do everything and get everything and be disappointed if you miss like 1 or 2 shots or 500 shots, whatever. Whatever you do, just enjoy it and have fun. It'll be here next time. And with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. See you guys in the morning.
Two shots of Illy Nespresso and hot water, a roadside Americano. I'm here at Zabriskie Point for sunrise. Was here last night for sunset. It's a very backlit view at sunset, but I'm excited about sunrise this morning. The weather is like nearly perfect. It's like 65 degrees, sunny, not sunny, clear skies. So I'm going to get out there in just a minute. I'm going to drink coffee a little more. I mean, the sunrise isn't for 28 minutes. It's blue hour technically right now, but then the sun has to get over the mountains as well a little bit. So I'm not in any rush, but the parking lot is filling up. I'm glad I got here when I did. So let's finish up this coffee and then we'll head on up. This morning, I've got both cameras ready to go, the Q343 and the M11 with the 28 Summicron. As the light came up, the beauty of this spot really started showing off. The western ridge lit up first, and the color palette presented in this spot is a landscape photographer's dream. It's light, it's shadows, it's a spectrum of earth tones, it's a spectrum of sky tones, truly an incredible sunrise. It's moments like this that remind me why I do this kind of photography. Not just for the images, but for the experience of making these images. So the cameras I'm using this morning are the Q343. Thanks again, Rudy. I've shared before that I typically will do 50 millimeters as my wide lens when I'm in like a big sprawling landscape, something like Yellowstone. But this also is a really big sprawling landscape. So this focal length is really rocking it this morning. And also I saw a couple get engaged and then they were using their phones to take selfies. So I walked over to them and asked them if they wanted a photo. And so I was able to shoot this couple and her new engagement ring on the Q343 this morning. So I'm gonna send that to them when I get to my hotel this evening. Pretty cool stuff. Additionally, I've been shooting this morning on my M11 with the 28 Summicron. One really nice thing about shooting landscapes on the M is that you're typically gonna be focused at infinity. And so there is no need to even think about autofocus. You just smack it over to infinity. Then you can just focus on your compositions. All right, fantastic morning, fantastic sunrise. But now we're gonna head on to our next spot. After leaving Zabriskie Point, I was headed up to the highest overlook in Death Valley, Dante's View. The drive up there isn't too long, maybe about 30 minutes or so, and when I got up there, the morning light was still soft enough for some really cool images. I loved the hard shadows on the mountain range here. All right, I think I can get to that peak. Take it one ridge at a time. It's kind of far away, and I'm talking about the first one there that's like straight ahead, not the one to the left. I'm still wearing my Tevas. Honestly, the hike's not bad. It's the wind on my hands, freezing. I mean, for the most part, it's the same view as the overlook. You get a little more of the mountain range, which I think is honestly like a nice little touch if you have a wide lens, which I do, 28. It's a little tight with the 43 to get the mountain range and some of Badwater Basin. No doubt this is the biggest view in Death Valley. Oh my gosh, and how steep this drop off is. Oop, I slipped in my Tevas. Oh wow, yeah, it's a substantial drop off there. Look, I was getting ready to step up and my Teva got stuck in the rocks. So these are just basically slippers. Whoop. God, man. Oh, I don't want to die up here. Again, today's channel and video brought to you by Tevas. This is where I was going to show you. I'm almost at it. When I said that's a substantial drop off, I'm talking about this. It's probably 40 feet right off this rock, but then it's like a nice steep decline all the way down. And this is that view to the left. All right, I'm going to attempt a shot here with the Q343 because it has interval shooting. So I'm going to take my bag. I didn't bring a tripod. Of course, why would I? I'm going to set up my bag right here as a little stand. Doesn't matter if it's just a little crooked. I'm going to frame up a shot that I want to get. Okay. I'm going to switch it to interval shooting. I'm going to have a lot of photos. All right, that's my shot. That's my spot. Camera's nice and balanced, feels secure. Okay, exposure is good, everything's good. All right,
intervals rolling. So I think it's gonna take a photo every 3 seconds or so until I get over there. So big memory cards. I actually did this a couple of days ago for a self-portrait I wanted. All right, here is the spot. I try to get up here, get into a pose. Gonna take the mic off for a minute. And since I never really know which leg looks better up or down, I'm gonna change positions. Let's go this one. All right, hopefully one of those looks good. Yeah, you know, I think I got a YouTube thumbnail out of that. If this photo made you click, let me know below. I don't know if I'll actually use it, but it is a cool photo. And I shot it at f/16 because I wanted to be in focus, but I wanted the mountains in focus too. I wanted the plants in the front in focus. I wanted it all in focus. So f/16 looks good. Don't be afraid of high apertures, you know, don't let the wide open crew shame you to thinking you can only shoot at your lowest f-stop. All right, I think we are ready to walk back to the car, and we are actually gonna be leaving Death Valley today and searching for a couple of ghost towns and things on the way to Las Vegas, where I'll be for the next, I don't know, 5 days or so. So let's head back to the car and let's head out of the park. I'm using the Biogon here because I want that like dreamy fall off it has for these shots. I'm gonna put it at 2.8, but I'm imagining it's going to want to use the electronic shutter. Let's take a look. Yep, I don't like the electronic shutter. I'm just gonna go to good old God-fearing 5.6. Man, it's awesome. All right, let's move around a little bit. See what else we can find here. This old hotel still has people staying in half of it and even has a front desk staff. I stepped in and asked if they'd let me see the old opera house, but they told me that it was only open for guided tours and there were no tours today, so no access, unfortunately. In addition to the M11, I'm also using the Q3-43 again because, again, this lens and focal length, it's pretty freaking unreal. It's good for these tight shots for sure. All right, so there is like an actual like ghost town on the other side of the hotel. It's got a fence around it, like property fence. But I'm gonna see what I can do just in that area. Fairly safe to assume they do not want anybody back here, but that's okay. Because I'm gonna shoot a little just through the fence, like this. I would much rather be able to walk around this town, but shooting roadside wasn't a bad compromise. Photographers can keep a good reputation by always honoring the rules of a spot like this. I've seen plenty of people jump fences before to get a shot, but that doesn't help keep this kind of photography sustainable. I share this to share one of the most important photography tips that I can give you. Always be mindful of where you stand. With the Q3-43, I'm gonna hop above the fence. You know, having the right tools
is helpful for telling the story that you want to tell. Using the Q343 for shooting around here for the most part has really been helpful, especially not, you know, reaching the buildings that are back here. The autofocus is pretty helpful as well, that quick autofocus, because I can just get the shot and move because I'm shooting from the road. So I don't love standing on the road. I also don't love just being like highly visible to people that aren't in the same place for the same reason that I am. So like, I don't care about shooting in the national park or in a landscape because other people are there to experience the park or the landscape. But I don't know who's driving by me and what their intentions might be. I'm not a paranoid person, but at the same time, I definitely don't like drawing attention to myself. So quick autofocus helps me tell that story really fast and bounce, which is what I'm gonna do now. So let's get going. I stopped to photograph this town right off the side of 95, but I think my information was a little dated because this place is covered in graffiti. And right off the road, I'm not seeing like the main feature I wanted to photograph, but then I feel like I see it way, way out there. So I'm gonna attempt to drive out there, I think. There's no way I'm walking that far. I'll walk a little bit, but not that far. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, if I do walk out there, what's the best route? Both roads look terrible. There's absolutely no way you're gonna see it with this lens, but it's like right, like there. There's just no way you're not gonna see it. It's an old, like, chimney just sticking up. Nothing else is there. It's just a chimney. All right, I'm gonna scheme whether I take the left road or the right road. It's gonna be a long walk either way. I don't know. I'm not gonna know until I drive down there, so I'm just gonna drive down there. Yeah, I think that road to the left, that road does not get me excited. It's very narrow, a lot of rocks. This one's a little more open, but man, that is gonna be a walk. I also don't know how I'm gonna turn around back here. This doesn't look good. There's a wash. And there's a lot of metal crap just around here from the old town. Yeah, this isn't, oh God, what have I got myself into here? Nice and slow. Now, I wasn't aware that my mic was off here, but I was sharing how I was contemplating the drive down the dirt road and parking in a wash and then planning to walk down this old road towards the chimney in the distance. I don't even know if the chimney is visible on the screen here because it's so far away, but it's a lot closer than it was. As I've shared several times here, I always enjoy the stuff that I find on the ground, and it's pretty rare to see old glass. I was super excited to grab this photo. Looks like the road I was walking takes you right over to the chimney, which is great because I was a little nervous about walking through the brush. Definitely don't want to encounter any rattlesnakes or metal. While my tetanus shot is current, I don't want to step on or get cut by metal or step on cactuses, which are another thing out here. So yeah, having this road is definitely helpful. So given that this is a massive landscape and I want this chimney to really pop off, I'm gonna shoot everything at f2. I'm at 1/8,000. It's pretty bright out here. So I was shooting it with the furthest mountains away. Now I'm gonna shoot it with the closest mountains.
I'm getting low so that the chimney is above the mountain line. One thing that I typically have to do when I'm shooting an EVF in bright light like this, with a rangefinder, it's not an issue because you can see through the, you're just looking at real life. But I typically will put my thumb, like, try to do this way. I typically have to put my thumb here to block out any light. So when I'm shooting vertically, I'm typically kind of doing the same thing. I'm like cupping my eye almost with my fingers to block out any light. It's a pretty wild spot. I'm gonna step back a little bit and just get a little scale with the Q343. This is gonna be one of those scenarios where hopefully editing saves the day with the contrast and being able to retain those shadows. Don't hate me, but I shoot with edits in mind. I hope you found this video fun and inspirational. And if you haven't been to Death Valley, definitely go check it out. Be sure to hit those locations that were mentioned. I mean, they're just all incredible in their own regard. And then get outside the park and explore some of these ghost towns around here. They're pretty freaking cool. If you like the photos that you saw today, there's a gallery linked right below that'll take you to my website and you can see them again. You can also follow me on Instagram because I'm going to post some of them on there. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video, on the locations, on this type of photography. Be sure to drop a comment below and let me know what you think. I try to reply to every single comment, so be sure to drop one right below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.